fell in love with you at my weakest. I was the most vulnerable and scared. You could have taken advantage of that, but you brought strength instead. Strength to bond in intimacy. Intimacy way beyond sex and without sex. I found love in its purest. A love that protects and shields. A love that keeps not just the sanity of my mind, but also the sanctity of my body. Your love is pure, my lover. I want a love like yours till forever. Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on when and where you're listening to this from. This is the Journey Called Love podcast, and it's your favorite host, Damilola Daisy. Welcome to another exciting episode of your favorite podcast, and it's always a pleasure to have you here, right? Today, I am going to be talking about love and purity. Love and purity is going to be the series. Yeah, it's a series actually. So this particular episode and then the next. Yeah, for today, I'm going to be talking about, or I titled today's episode as Love is First Pure. Right, love is first pure. Can you picture what it would feel like, or what it would have felt like to be loved by a man? To feel so, or to be so special to that man that he wants to protect your innocence. Can you put an image? I want you to form the image in your mind. A kind of love. You're in a relationship with somebody and you're so special to him that he wants to protect your innocence. He wants to keep you. I don't know if you have ever heard or met with, this playboy, like real playboy, that they have this, some of them have this mindset of keeping a particular babe in reserve. I don't know if you understand. Like they say, they can actually do whatever they want to do with every other lady, but this particular babe, they're keeping her in reserve. They're not going to touch her. They're not going to mess up. They're not going to mess with her. They're not going to, do anything with her. I don't know. I'm sure that there has been. You've probably heard or met someone like that. Exactly. That kind of love is actually the kind or the love that God expects or God desires for every one of us as children. All right. And on the journey of love, it is very sure that we'll meet different kind of lovers. We'll be painted or we'll be given different kind of love, in all sincerity anyways, just by the side. Love is love. There's just one type, right? But then I'm saying this because there's no other way there's no other word to use aside the word love, right? So I'm saying that we are going to actually be served with a different kind of love. This person will come, love you this way. The other one will come and say this is the love that he has to offer you. Do you understand? And it is very important that you're able to choose to settle with the love that is pure. It is very important because in itself, love in itself is pure. It is so selfless. It is so selfless, like totally selfless. And if you check, if you look, if you think about it well, this sex thing, think about it well, you'll see a very big dose of selfishness in it, right? Yes, like let's put aside the fact that it's pleasurable, it's all of the things you think you know about it, just put it aside and let's think about it like real well. In itself, right, it has a big dose of selfishness. The guy feels like it, and if he calls his babe, so you said you're coming today, the babe comes around and one thing before we know it, sex has happened. At the end of the day, what had the guy done? He has just satisfied himself. So maybe while the girl was coming to his place, she actually does not have it in mind to even do that. But because the guy wants it, at the end of the day, what happens? The guy's desires has to be met. And I'm not just saying that it's the only guys that does. It's both ways, right? Yes. Even if it's like the two of you want it at that moment, it is still you guys satisfying your flesh yourself. I don't know if you get yourself. So sex let me now put it right. Sex outside the confine of marriage, or outside the protection, because it's not actually a confine, outside the protection of marriage, is actually selfish. Because at this point, there's no commitment. Nobody is, you can say tomorrow, I wake up tomorrow and accept that you're no longer interested. But because today, it is what you want, I have to give it to you. It is what we want. We have to satisfy ourselves, right? But love in itself is selfless. Very, very. The love that says, I don't want a soul bond until I have a mind bond. That is actually deep, and I want to say it again. The kind of love that we all deserve, or we all deserve and desire deep down in our hearts, is that kind of love that wants a mind bound. I have always thought about it. That kind of intimacy where you can be totally yourself, where you can be totally vulnerable. And I am not even talking about body meeting body and lip smacking. I'm not even talking about all of that. A kind of love, a kind of relationship where you can say anything the way it's coming to you. You can express yourself. Even the kind of relationship we have with God, right? Or we should have with God, or the kind of relationship God expects us to have with Him. It's that kind. The agape love that God has for us is like that. Is a selfless, vulnerable, intimate kind of love. That kind of love where you can pour yourself out. You can the words are failing me actually, but that kind of love where you can be you. We all crave that love. Let's not lie to ourselves. And at the end of the day, we are just making do with what we get, because we feel that it is impossible to have that kind of love. Yes. And trust me, it's the possibility of having that kind of love starts with you. If you think it's possible, and you believe that it's possible, and you love like that, and another person thinks it's possible, believes it's possible, and loves like that, before you know it, it will become a very much possible thing even in our world, right? And that is the kind of love that we all desire deep down in our hearts. And funny how it's actually the kind of love that God gives us. It's the kind of love that God wants us to have. So beyond our desire is even also legit what God wants us to have, right? If we remove sex and money from so many relationships today, so many, even yours, let's think about it together. If we remove sex from that your love that you claim you have, and we remove the fact that perhaps the guy is paying a bit of your bills, or you can always ask him for money, say the table of your love will not fall. This episode is actually thought-provoking. It is more thought-provoking than it is I don't know, is inspirational? No, inspirational is not even the word. Anyways, it's just thought-provoking, right? If we remove sex, if we remove all of the romance, all of the elder brother and auntie and sister of sex, and money, what do you think will be left of your relationship? Do you actually have a bond? Like, let's actually think about it. Do you have a bond? Or is just the sex that is keeping you together? Great sex. Actually, great sex does not even equal great love. The fact that you guys, have a very nice time together does not mean that you guys actually love each other that much. Ask people that are married, and you find out that great sex does not equal great love. It doesn't actually. It doesn't at all. In fact, it doesn't at all. Right? Like I've said, I've always said on this channel, experience is the best teacher, and doesn't have to be your experience. Alright? So when I'm saying great sex does not equal great love, I'm not saying it from the point of my experience. I'm saying it from the point of other people's experiences, right? So great sex, put that in mind, does not equal great love. And at the end of the day, sex is not even any way close to the parameter to judge that somebody loves you or not. It's not a yardstick at all. As much as sex in itself is a beautiful thing, beautiful gift from God, beautiful gift from God, perfect expression of your love. It's the same God that gave us the ability to love other people, that gave us the beautiful gift of sex. And this is just a simple commandment, simple instruction. Don't do this when you've not, don't have sex before marriage. You understand? Don't have sex, or don't come into a physical bind or a physical bonding when you have not actually bonded in your minds. Right? So love is first pure. The kind of love that you and I really, really desire, is that love that keeps the sanctity of our body, that respects our boundaries. So many relationships that one of the partner is just there or doing the things that the other person wants to be done just because, if I don't do it, it's going to leave me. You understand? Too many of us are falling into compromises here and there because we are scared if we don't do this, it's going to leave me. What kind of love? That is even very conditional, if you ask me. You're in that point. That's a situation, right? You're in that situation where you're like, if I don't sleep over in this place, it's going to get angry, and I don't want him to get angry at me. Why do you think that you deserve the kind of love that is that conditional? You do not, my dear. You do not. If I don't satisfy her this way, she's going to think I don't love her enough. Sex is never a proof that you love somebody. I know that this might be all the shades of rare, might be all the shades of what is she saying. Yes, I understand, but at the end of the day, it is the truth of the matter. This is the very, 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 very bitter truth, the basic truth, right? The kind of love you need to get to say I do is not the love that has sex in it. The kind of love that you need, the kind of confirmation that you need, right? The kind of confirmation that you need, or the kind of, let's just go with confirmation, because I'm really finding it difficult to find the right word. The kind of confirmation that you need to say, oh, I can say I do, I can say yes to this person to forever. That level of love that you get to, that you say, oh yes, now I can do forever with this person, is not the kind of love that has sex in it. See, when you add sex and love together and you want to use that to determine whether or not to say yes to somebody, you're already starting off on a very wrong note. Because at the end of the day, right, you get married to that person, and yes, the sex continues, but funny how it can also actually decide to have sex with any other person. And at the end of the day, the fact that you guys have a good time together in bed does not mean that there are not 1,000,001 person out there that can have that they can have a better time with, or that she can have a better time with. Understand? So the kind of love that you need, the kind of level of love, the point that you need to get to in your love journey where you decide to be with one person forever, is not the kind of love that has sex in it. It's not the kind of love that is immersed or that has been diluted with sex. Is it sex or love that's keeping your relationship afloat? Is it sex or is it love that is keeping your relationship? Which of it? Because it cannot be a little bit of both. If it's a little bit of both, then we are having issues already, right? It has to be love or sex. And if it is sex, you already know that it's that's not a relationship. That's just a friends with benefit kind of association. It's even friends with benefits. It's just a beneficial association. I remember associations in biology. Yes, it's just a beneficial kind of association. It's nothing at all. If it's just for the sex, you're just together for the sex. I mean, she's great company and all of that in bed, and that's just it. Then that's not the relationship. You're just there. So it has to be one of both. Is it love that is keeping you together, or is it sex? You have to really find out. Like I said, this podcast is actually very, very thought-provoking. I don't have the intent to lay commands or to dish this out as an instruction and say, guys, this is it. I just want you to choose for yourself. What you know, the crazy thing is that we are created as people of choice, and you can go on and say, well, I don't know about every other person, but me, I want love and sex. I want a love that has sex in it before marriage. And please, disclaimer, I am not talking about this in the context of marriage. I'm talking about it in the context of before marriage, all right? Because as far as marriage is concerned, sex is one of the lubricants that helps the wheel, to go faster, right? But outside marriage, sex is one of the, it's not a lubricant this time around. It is, one of the things that helps to bring the wheel slower and brings it into destruction and actually ends up destroying whatever is it you think you share. All right. In our days, right, I understand that the idea of a woman being loved and cherished is becoming really obsolete. At the end of the day, so many of us are going into relationship for what we can get from it, and so it's love in its purest form. We are losing it. We're actually losing love in the purest form. Love is a virtue. It's a virtue of a man caring for a woman so much that he will be willing to protect, cherish, and love her, not just to use her. A virtue in that a man is willing, or a woman, because at the end of the day, love is not just for men, right? Is willing to protect the woman he claims he loves, to cherish the man she claims she loves, to keep, and not just to use her to satisfy his desires. Just understand, if there is nothing you get from this podcast, if there is nothing you get from all of my talks, since the morning, I just want to ask that question I started with. Do you desire, all right, let me ask it this way, do you desire that kind of love, from a man, that you mean so much to him, that he's able to stab his own desires just to protect your innocence? That you mean so much to him, that he is able to protect the sanctity of your body, that in your relationship there's no fight because of sex. There is no is that why you do not now come to my place? Is that why there's no talk around, there's no fight for that. There is no fear of what if you're not sexually compatible. Not because you want to be blinded to that fact, but because the love you share, that this is not even a question of doubt. It's not a thing of doubt. It's not a thing to be doubted. Sex outside the protected cavity or the protected enclosure of one man and one woman marriage is cheap. Whatever you want to call it, you can call it whatever you want to call it. I am not saying this from the point of I've experienced love in this purest form, because at the end of the day, we all are looking for that kind of love. And like I said from the beginning, it will be very impossible for us to find love like that if we do not start from us. If you do not decide from you to actually love somebody in that pure form, it is not obsolete, it is not unheard of, it is not archaic, it's not old-fashioned, it is not at all. It is love. It is what it is. It is love. Because by the time you remove sex from the equation, you are able to create or form a kind of bond that can last, that can stand regardless. See the love that we have between our friends now. Just think about it. And that's why they say you should marry your friend at the end of the day. See the love that you have with that your very, very good friend. Some of us even have opposite gender as our besties. See the kind of love you have for your opposite gender bestie. You guys don't have anything sex related, right? No. Can anything beat that love, really? For some of us, I've had friends that has friends that we've been with for a very long time. You've been through storms together. There are times when you even did not communicate, but when you come again together, it's like, where did we stop? And the sparks and the love, the affection, the care is everywhere. It's lighting up the room every time you guys are together. I don't know, don't you want to have that kind of person now love you till forever? Don't you want to have that kind of pureness? Is pureness a word? That kind of innocence in even your love, like the love that is leading to marriage. The way I see it, from my point of view, from where I am standing, I think that I'd rather have that love that is pure, that is sex free, that is intimate, that you can be vulnerable with. I don't know why, but I really would rather have that love where you can be so vulnerable. That love where you can be yourself, and you are not just being yourself because the person is taking you like that. You are being yourself because you know that the person would help you to become better. The person would see your weaknesses, and help you to make them strengths. Oh my God, I don't know if we are seeing this picture I'm painting. And sincerely, this is not one of those, oh, you have to create your own man kind of talk. No. These things exist too. They really do exist. And like I said, it takes one to make another. It takes it starting with you. We all desire this thing. We all desire, and we all deserve it. After all the stress and loneliness that is in this world, I mean, the good thing you can do yourself is get married to somebody that sees you the way you are, that loves you the way you are, that is invested in keeping your innocence, that is invested, that loves that you're so special to, that he wants to just make you a better person, a better version of yourself, a better daughter of Zion, a better child of God, a better version of yourself. And that's like in every aspect of your life. My dear, with this viewpoint of mine, oh my God, yes, with this viewpoint of mine, I hope that you have actually put some thoughts. I hope that this is actually provoking thoughts in your mind, and it's actually making you think that, I'd rather be that person that's able to love someone in its purest form, that's able to give love in its purest form. I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to have a kind of selfish love. I don't want to love someone just because, I want to love someone with that love of God that doesn't even require anything in return, with that love that is able to go on and beyond, with that love that sees the weakest, most vulnerable part of that person and wants to help the person become better without anything in return. Well, is this scraping the fact? Is this saying that you're not going to feel sexually attracted to the one that you love? No, definitely you're human and you have blood and hormones running through your veins or running through your body, however it is. But it is saying that you're invested in intentionally making sure of your priorities. That you're telling the babe or telling the guy that your body is not, it's not what I see. It's not what is keeping me here. It's not your body. It's not how many styles, it's not if you're a good kisser or not. All of those is not what is keeping me with you. It's the fact that I see greatness in you. It's the fact that I see you. I see you. And I just want to be with you. Like the you that I see, not the you that everybody else sees, but the you that I see. When we come to that point where we are able to decide that we are going to give that kind of love, we'll definitely come to that point where we'll receive that kind of love. And trust me, our lives will be better for it. Wow. I was actually thinking this episode was going to be short, but here we are. Anyways, I am sure that you have had or heard or learned something. And for some of us that we're in the point where we say, it's a bit too late for that now, don't you think? Right? I know. But then there's no lateness with God, and it's just about you. Are you ready to actually make a U-turn? Like I said, you actually deserve love in its purest form. You do. I mean, if you don't, God won't love you. He won't. God is going to give you a physical representation of His love for you. And when I say a representation of God's love for you, you definitely know that it's not second rate. It's not tokumbo. It's not abamid. Right? So it is not too late for you to decide, to desire To decide that you deserve this and you're going to love like this and you're going to go for a love like this, as the Lord will be helping us all. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, guys. It's, when I share these things that I share, I remember that I was struggling a bit to come up with this episode because love in its purest form is a desire even for me, right? And it's also something that I am working towards giving. I am intentionally working towards becoming the kind of person that's able to give that kind of love. So, I was struggling with it because I actually was thinking what's the best way to put this so I won't sound like I am all up there and other people should just, rally around and follow, right? And I think that I did a good job at making it known that this is like everybody, this journey called love that we are in together. We are in it together. I have not achieved I've not achieved half of the race of this journey, right? We are in this journey together. And I am just committed to making sure that even as I run the race of the journey, or as I go through this journey of love, I am able to at least put one or two people together, because trust me, this journey that I am on, this one, it's to a love that is oh God, you guys will see pictures, you will see IG stories, you will see oppression left and center, but I don't want you to be too oppressed. That's why I am, inviting you to this journey while I am still on it. Anyways, that's by the way. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. More episodes are to come by the grace of God. And like I said, if you are in the shoe where you have come to the point where you desire a love that is pure, and you want to also be a person that gives out a love that is pure, you can always ask the Lord to help you. Yes, every one of us, we are nothing without God, right? Ask the Lord, ask the Holy Spirit for guide, ask Him for help. If you have to overcome an addiction, whatever you need to do, just pour your heart out to the Lord, show Him your weakness. He is a Father, and He definitely is always there to hear you and to help. Right. Thank you so much once again. And until I come your way again, it's Damilola Daisy, and this is the Journey Called Love podcast. Bye, guys.